This is Healthcare's Missing Logic podcast, episode number 151. Today is part 2 in our caring series, and we're talking about caring for others. So don't miss it.
Welcome back to Healthcare's Missing Logic podcast. This is the only podcast that shows you how to leverage polarity intelligence, an essential competency for healthcare leaders, and the missing logic in healthcare, so you can create healthy, healing organizations and become a thriving, resilient, and unstoppable healthcare leader.
We are your hosts, Tracy Christofferson and Michelle Trosett. We've been best friends and colleagues for over 30 years. And during that time, we coached healthcare leaders across North America around how to create healthy, healing organizations.
Today, we coach healthcare leaders and leadership teams to live thriving, resilient, and balanced lives, combat burnout, and create the best places to give and receive care.
This podcast is for the unsung hero of healthcare, the healthcare leader. We want you to know we see you and we'll be here for you each week. In this podcast, we're going to challenge healthcare's industry norms, flip limiting beliefs, and share proven strategies so you can be your best self at work and at home, live and lead intentionally, and experience well-being and joy.
We are glad you are here and look forward to sharing the journey with you. If you aren't totally convinced this podcast is for you, just listen to a few episodes and convince yourself.
Hi, everybody. It's Healthcare's Missing Logic podcast, and it's Tracy.
And Michelle.
Yeah. Hey, welcome back.
Yeah.
We're super excited to be here with you today.
We are.
And once again, we are burning up the airwaves between California and Michigan.
Truth is, they've been burning for months that way.
Yeah. That's kind of what happens in the winter.
That's right. She skips town, man. Skips state.
I do. And thank goodness for technology.
Oh.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah, it is really awesome. Because it's like we're apart, but we're never apart. We're always connected.
Oh, we're always connected, folks.
Yeah, we're always connected.
Always, yeah.
Oh, well, we're so excited to be back with you again today. And we are focusing on that to be a thriving, resilient, unstoppable leader, you have to care. And caring is a big part of that identity to be a true leader. And we're in the middle of a series. Today, we're halfway through. We're calling it the Caring Series. Last week, we talked about caring for self. Today, we're going to be talking about caring for others. And next week, we're going to be talking about caring for each other. So last week, if you didn't catch it, go listen in. Tracy and I, we gave you some great tips on self-care and some of the things we've been learning from others, some of the things that we do. And today is going to be about caring for others and what true leaders need to think about, focusing on that side of it, caring for others.
Yeah, it'll be a short session because you guys do this all the time.
Yeah, that's so true.
You're experts at this, really.
All right, so let's kick us off.
Right. All right. So, well, this is in our DNA, folks,
It is.
Right? Like, if you're in healthcare, caring is in your DNA. I'm sure there is something there that if they really investigated, it would come out and would say caring. It's one of the little links in the DNA strands. I'm sure of it, right? It's really one of our highest values. It's often why we even go into healthcare, why we're healers, right? And so it's a natural part of who we are. And it's also rewarding, right?
Oh, yeah.
It feels good when you care for others and you make a difference in somebody's life. It's very rewarding. It's honorable until we overdo it, until we overfocus on it, right? And then what happens is, right, we've kind of been indoctrinated. If we get indoctrinated with this belief that I have to be a servant leader, last man standing, right?
Right.
Everybody before me, leaders eat last, right? Yeah, that kind of leads to that overemphasis on caring for others. Sometimes too, we're influenced by our fears.
Mm-hmm.
Fears of what others are going to think about us if we don't put them first. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Fears about what people are going to say about us.
Mm-hmm.
Fears about if I don't do what the other guy's doing and somebody's going to judge me, right? Got news for you. They're judging you anyway. Just let it go. Because that's what we do as human beings. We judge each other, right?
So true.
We don't want our team or our family or other people to think we're not pulling our weight, we're not going above and beyond, that we're not attentive to their needs, that we don't know what their needs are, right? So we serve and we serve and we serve and we care for others, we care for others, we care for others. And then pretty soon, there's no room to care for us,
Right.
So, sometimes we care for others and they don't even want us to, or in ways that aren't really necessary, like staying late every night at work, right? Just to be there because
it becomes a habit.
Right.
You don't even,
exactly. Because you're afraid people are going to say, oh my God, look, she went home or he went home. Yeah. It's okay to go home. It's okay to go home. Or you make yourself available 24/7. Now, this is a real issue. And we see this with a lot of leaders. And we're seeing a lot of people making some choices about that, which is really good. But when you are available by email or phone or text or whatever other kind of communication device your organization uses, you don't have to be. You really don't have to be available all the time, right? Like, so you can set some boundaries around that. But that's one way that we care for people, and they may not even really need us to be available. We just make ourselves available.
Yeah. So it could be, to your point, self-inflicted overserving.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Who would do that?
Well, a lot of people do it. And then the challenge that happens is you just get into almost that habit of overserving. Like, you don't even think about it. You kind of, you make up your own rules and you don't even realize it. And and then
your own stories.
And then what happens is you neglect your own needs, and that's going to show up for you in different ways. So, you're exhausted. And I'll tell you, a really good tip is listen to your self-talk. If you say to yourself, I am so tired, I am exhausted. Hello, that's an early warning sign. So that can show up like that, just being exhausted and tired. Also resentment. You can get to a place where you just really resent that you have to spend so much time at work, or work is so much a part of your life. So pay attention to any resentful thoughts you might be thinking as well. Or you're just stressed. And we all know the signs and symptoms of stress. It could even start affecting your health. Stress can affect your health, how you're feeling. And you can feel just unfulfilled because you're overserving and you're caring for others all the time, and you're not really paying attention to what you need and making yourself a priority and making those mindful choices to have those boundaries and to restate your stories in your head.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, so that's what can happen when we overdo it.
Yes.
And it's important to know that there's a downside to this. And so we want to make sure everybody's aware it's a great thing to do, and we all want to do it, and it's important and rewarding, but there are downsides. And that's what Michelle was just sharing with you, right? Those are the downsides. But it is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And, there are some things in our framework that really help people. And one of the things that we focus on in the dynamic balance effect framework is mindful choices. And a part of that is the principles that guide our lives. And, two of the principles in there that are also applicable to the polarity intelligence pillar are relationships in dialogue. And those two things can really help you be intentional in how you are caring for others and improve your relationships, right? They're very effective principles when it comes to caring for others and setting that intention and being present and all those things that go along with caring for somebody else, right? And giving care to others. Of course, the self and other polarity itself, right, is a chronic tension that all leaders have to balance. And that's what we were just referring to. If we overemphasize that other thing, right, that caring for others, and whoa, boy, here we go, right? But so it's a balance. It's a dynamic balance. There are times in our lives where we're going to have to give more to others. And there are times where we're going to be on the receiving end, caring for ourselves, right? And so those two things really come out of the dynamic balance effect framework. And they're the benefits really of caring for others, along with it being rewarding. It's very satisfying. So it feels good. And for some people, it fills their bucket, right? When they care for others, it fills their bucket. It makes them feel good inside and out. And, you feel like you're a part of something bigger because you're contributing in a larger scale. Caring for others can be your community. It's not even have to be just one other person. It can be in your personal life or your professional life. And it really is, it's about that being considerate of the interests of others, right? Like, so you're interested in other people, you're considerate of them. And that, again, is a very positive emotion. It feels really good. And so those are really kind of some of the benefits of caring for others. And we're going to share a few of our caring for others tips, things that we do when we care for others on our team, each other, our clients. So we'll give you the rundown. One thing that I do when it comes to caring for others is, again, it goes back to the relationship, because relationship is one way that you care for others. And that is creating time to connect one-on-one. So, just that intentional connection with another person. Sometimes they don't get enough one-on-one. A lot of people do this with their kids, like just scheduling a little one-on-one time with each child, or, we schedule Zoom calls, right? Because that's how we connect with our family. We don't live near each other. So it's really about just having some time to be connected with them one-on-one. And even in our roles in our organization, Michelle and I have one-on-one time, right? We connect with the different people we work with one-on-one just to keep the relationship strong and care for them. Learn what's important to them and give to them right during that time. Another is sending note cards, like to recognize people, things they've done, just to say, thanks for being you. Glad you're in my life, whatever it might be. Recognizing accomplishments, those kinds of things. Just little notes. It just means a lot to somebody just to get a little, a little card or a little note in the regular mail.
So much fun.
It is. Well, it's fun to get mail.
It is.
I love getting mail. Yeah. And then the other is we have partnership agreements in our business. So we write partnership agreements because it's really about what you can expect from me, what I need from you. So we get to learn what people's needs are, what their expectations are, how we can work together in the most effective way, making sure everybody's needs are met, that we're considerate of other people's interests and what's important to them, that we're not moving through our lives just thinking about what's important to me, but really taking into consideration the interest and the importance of the values of other people, right, as we work with them. So that's one of the things that we do in our business.
Yeah, all good examples. And so I had written down, begin each team meeting with a check-in. Now, check-ins is really a process related to dialogue. And it's a very important way to check in with every team person, to just hear their voice. It can make a difference in a meeting when you open up every meeting, just hearing from everyone. Doesn't have to take a long time. That could be simply by asking a question, or just having everyone to kind of say, this is where I'm at today. This is what's going on in my life. And it helps us not to make assumptions. So that's really powerful to show that you care for people, because you do want to hear from everyone. Another thing is to do team rounding on purpose. And I share this one with you because it's something we've been hearing from leaders right now, that in a way for them to connect with others and from a place of not from over-serving, but for really caring, to be very intentional when they do their team rounding, to really listen, to take opportunity at that time to hear where they're at, what's going on in their life, and also to exercise some coaching at that point in time, so that they really can help their team members where they are right now. So that's another one. And then I also had celebrate successes. And that's no surprise that Tracy and I both had that because deliberate celebration is one of our core values at Missing Logic. And it's, I think for me, it's not even waiting for the big things to celebrate. It's celebrating the baby steps. It's celebrating the progress towards the outcome. And it's also looking at that from a professional, but also personally. You know, if someone in your family had a success at school or something in their work, you know, take time to really honor that and celebrate that as well, because it really just shows people that you care. So those are some examples that we do to really help the people around us know that we care for them. Mm-hmm. So the call to action today is to do some self-reflection on your own stories about caring for others. How important is it to you? Are they founded stories? Are they passed down stories from other people? So think about that. And what is your interpretation of how to care for others? And really what's there? When do they really feel cared for? So kind of check that out with them as well as far as expectations. And have you stopped and asked others, you know, what do you need right now to make sure that you're really meeting their needs when you are desiring to care for them and that you're really kind of making the mark and not making assumptions about that can be very, very helpful. And what are the priorities right now for the people around you? And so that you can be, again, intentional in how you care for others. How can I be more intentionally present when I'm with people? This is a big one. We think maybe just because we're in the same room or we have a conversation that we're caring, but are you really present? Do they feel that connection with you? So you can really reflect on that as well. And do I have time on my calendars to care for others? Did we put time on the calendar to go celebrate that promotion? Do I have time on my calendar to do the one-on-one connections that Tracy spoke of? So those are some good things to think about as you reflect on the ways that you care for others and your own thinking about how you care for others.
Yeah. Those are great. And, you know, we mentioned earlier, there's downsides when you overfocus on caring for others, but there's downsides when you don't. So, you know, you want to really think about those things that Michelle just said, because there are consequences. You know, think about what are the consequences if I'm not caring for others? And, you know, I think something to think about is, you know, when you're not caring for others, you can feel really disconnected. Mm-hmm. You know, from the people in your life, whether that's professionally or personally, you just kind of start to isolate and be disconnected from people. The other thing is your relationships become strained. So if you're not meeting the needs or caring for others in your life that are important to you, it can have a negative impact and strain those relationships that you do have with people. You can lose a sense of shared purpose, you know, like at work or even in your family, you know, when you're not caring for others and not showing up in that intentional way, clear on their preferences and their needs, right? And how that contributes to where you're headed collectively, that can really lead to, you know, that kind of loss of shared purpose and the thing that's binding you together, right? Yep. And moving you forward. The other is, you know, hey, when you need something, people aren't going to be there. So it's not going to be reciprocated, right? Like you're going to get reciprocated to you that you're not caring for them. So they're not going to care for you. Right. So that's a downside. When you really need people, you're going to be going, where are they? Where'd everybody go? Where are they? Where are my peeps? What happened here? I need some help. Right. They ain't going to be there. So, you know, you get what you give. And so there are consequences to not doing this as well. Right. And so it's very, very important. So just showing that intention, right? And giving attention to the others in your life that are important, showing appreciation, meeting people where they're at, you know, just recognizing where they are and celebrating them and what's important to them, and how that is, you know, also important to you. That helps you thrive and it helps others thrive as well. Right. So
Yeah.
So that's the upside, man.
It is. And when you have that upside experience, it feels so good to have the people that you appreciate in your life, and you show them when they come right back at you with how much they appreciate what you did for them or what you said to them, or it just feels so good. And if you don't, then it sucks. It doesn't feel very good. So we want to be on the upside of that. We want to be on the successful side of that. And true leaders, true healthcare leaders, thriving, resilient, unstoppable healthcare leaders, they really know this. They really know how important this is. And I'm just going to state the wise words of Maya Angelou, the poet. And she has a great saying about this. So we're going to close the session with this. And she says that as you grow older, you will discover that you have two hands, one for helping yourself and one for helping others. So we just want to say, don't wait until you're too old to discover that, though. you can apply that right now.
Right now. Use both your hands. Both your hands. So far, we've covered caring for yourself and caring for others. So there you go. You got it now. You got it now. All right. All right. Wow. Thanks for closing with that. That was great. And just thanks for being here with us again. We really appreciate you, and us showing up here every week is our way of caring for you. So, we do this with great love in our hearts and respect for all that you're experiencing and all that you're trying to do and your journeys as leaders. And we just want to do whatever we can to support you and help you be the best that you can be and get the most out of your personal and your professional life. And so this is kind of our way of caring for you. So we hope that you're enjoying it. We're grateful that you're here listening to us every week. And we're grateful for all the positive feedback we've been getting from people all across the country. And so join us next week. We're going to finish up this 3-part series on caring, and we'll be talking about caring for each other.
Yes.
It's going to be a love fest, folks. So you don't want to miss
next week.
Don't want to miss the love. Don't want to miss the love. And if you're enjoying this, just share it with your friends and colleagues and other people that you think will enjoy it as well. And reach out to us.
Yeah. We don't bite.
Reach out to us. No, you can leave a comment in any one of our, social media channels, and Missing Logic LLC, right, Michelle?
Right.
That's our handle. All right. Whether we're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook,
LinkedIn,
YouTube, LinkedIn, we're everywhere, and we'd love to hear from you. So till next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and care for others.
Care for others. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Healthcare's Missing Logic podcast, now a top-rated podcast for healthcare leaders. Please share this podcast with other healthcare leaders and anyone else you think would benefit. We are certain that if you found value in it, they will too. If you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any episodes. And also, it would mean the world to us if you took a quick moment to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast player. It helps to get the word out about our podcast and incredible guests. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to watch our podcasts. You can also follow us on our Missing Logic social media channels, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Until next time.